You are listening to High School 510, where sports is the plane, comedy is the pilot, and the sweet Jeeba is our jet fuel. Please sit back and enjoy the ride.
Is Powell barbecuing right now? He just came in with the largest pair of tongs outside.
Powell's over here acting like the one white barber at the barbershop, just like doing everything but cutting hair.
That's true, though. That's true.
I remember the barbershop I went to. I don't think he was white. I think he was like Puerto Rican, but he was like real.
Hunter.
So nobody ever wanted him to cut their hair because they didn't trust his ass. And he was one dude who was always waiting with the empty seat, so they had him sweeping and doing other random shit. All right, well, let's get into it. Pal, are you there?
I'm lighting my hookah coals, and so they're almost ready. That's why.
Who are you, Cardi B? What is this nigga doing?
This is crazy.
You niggas are crazy!
Y'all don't remember us going in. I'm like, shoot, every time he's on the game, anything.
Yeah, your JD Manning.
Up there, JD Manning, Aaron would just recite everything JD Manning. Shit, Aaron, you driving?
Yeah, man, I'm over here. I'm in the truck right now.
Wait, where were you watching this? Where were you watching the soccer game?
At the Parkway. It was two theaters with two total people in it. Me and Moses.
Shout out to New Parkway sponsorship.
That Rolling Protocol. You go in there, you turn on the big theater. It's a big screen, and it's just you and one other person sitting in the movie theater, 10 feet apart.
Man, Aaron, you looking left and right like you looking for one of your bitches on the track right now. You just
you know what? You know what, Brandon? You know when you're on these Oakland streets and motherfuckers don't believe in stop signs in Oakland, so you gotta look left and right about 5 times at the same street. Now I gotta grab all this food I got for free.
Are you making biscuits for a homeless shelter? How you doing this?
Damn fly flew in the car. Right when I closed the damn door.
Man, close the door. I can get you some crispy, crunchy fly.
You was a 6 blood. You was a soup kitchen cook in Vietnam.
Yep. You know, I used if I was find some crawdads, me and Delray Lindo.
It looked like y'all going back to Vietnam to get the original sriracha bottle y'all left.
The original sriracha bottle. Come on. You gotta make sure everybody hear me hit that alarm 5 times.
Aaron's doing the Oakland 2-step right now.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yep. Have to do the Oakland 2-step. Do the Oakland 2-step. Every time you get out your car, you walk away and then go back to make sure you don't leave nothing in that back seat.
I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem.
I'm sorry for being late.
Man, we're getting
a
very intimate look at Aaron's life right now, man. This is like if Cleveland went rogue, started living in Detroit and coaching soccer for kids.
You talking about Cleveland Brown?
Someone was really named Detroit Inner City Soccer Coach. It's your boy Detroit, the Inner City Soccer Master. Maybe it's just Cleveland's twin brother who lives there.
Jared, did you get any sleep? Did you go to the woods?
No, I ended up staying because where I was gonna go was gonna be hella smoky.
Shit, the way shit on fire, you might as well get underwater. Shit,
man, they all gonna trick us to get on these boats going back to Africa. You know that, just know.
As long as you send me to the right part, you send me where all the horn, where all the Eritrean and Ethiopian women, I ain't got no problem. I'll be on that boat. I'll be on that boat.
One of the stops for the slave trade is the Emeryville public market, so be careful, nigga.
Don't, long as you don't send me to Liberia with my clothes on.
Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa.
Who is that?
That's your boy.
Aaron.
That's what
That's your boy.
Is that him? I didn't even know that was him. I was like, it sounded like him. I never heard that quote before.
Yes, you have. I used it.
I thought you were just using that quote, Pedro, because you was trying to impress some fat white woman at Phoenix.
Is that true?
I'm starting to realize a couple of things. Do not name anybody, your child, after Earl. Earl's another one of those names that you just can't, like, they seem like you could trust them for a while, and then they just end with some real slick, scandalous stuff.
They always have some major scandal or two.
Wait,
Always.
that was the case. I knew that was the case since '91 when Toe Jam and Earl came out. I said, "This is over."
Is
Earl shirt for Tristan Thompson?
No, man. Earl. Think about the Earls. You got Earl Thomas. You got Earl Sweatshirt. You got Earl Woods. Tiger Woods' dad.
J.R. Smith or Earl Smith.
J.R. Ryder Earl Smith. All Earls.
Remember that TV show? What was that TV show? Don't Trust Earl? Yeah.
I think it's just called My Name Is Earl, but naturally you don't want to trust Earl.
Well, in that show, he was.
It's funny that Jerry, you thought that was the name of the show.
Yeah, don't trust Earl.
He wasn't a lazy person. What are you talking about? He won the lotto, and then he blew off the lotto hella quick, and so it was the story of like him being hella famous, but like he already had blew his lotto cash.
Yeah, and he was apologizing to everybody he wronged in his life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. He ended up like, yeah, I mean, but like he wasn't. Never mind. He's trash. You're right.
Yeah, he was trash. I was like, he was trash, right?
The sad part, I thought that coming on 35 minutes late would mean the show was already started.
No, we didn't get started. Albert had to, sadly had to drop out last minute, do some family stuff. So, but otherwise, Brandon, I need a letter.
Letter E, please.
E. Equifax. Eberflus. Equality. Eon Flux.
It was Aeon. It was. I started the A. It was Aeon Flux, dude.
Airy Goose.
Denzel Washington in The Equalizer.
Earl.
Earl.
Earl was also in the back seat sleep with Rodney King. He was in the car with Rodney King.
Earl sleep. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the High Score 510 podcast. You can catch us at High Score 510 on the Instagram, the YouTube, and the Twitter. You can also email the show at highscore510.fans@gmail.com. And we are here with...
this is Aaron Grayson III, also known as AG3, known as the Red Dust Slanger and the Little Mexican Girl Slayer.
Playoff P has been proven to work in the regular season for those who have struggled with moderate to severe postseason disappointment. It is not recommended as a first option. Do not take Playoff P while on Granger. Side effects include choking, heaving, not finishing, constipation, finishing early, and all-around disappointment.
Playoff. As soon as you played that, Jared, this motherfucker Paul George in the game hit the back iron on the wide out 1-3. Back iron.
Shout out to Paul George, sponsorship. Come on our show.
Aaron, I hope you're eating your pedo flakes today.
Your playoff P flakes.
My playoff P flakes, man.
No, those pedo flakes for being a young Mexican girl slayer. I don't know if anybody called that.
I heard
I don't
that.
mean that young. You can be young in 20. I'm 40 years old. Young is 30 now.
No, man, you slipping. All you got to just say is young woman. And we know what you're talking about. When you say young woman, girl, woo, young girl Mexican slayer.
You're right. Young woman slayer.
Wasn't it last week Aaron was saying, I make him sound bad?
That's why I'm going to thank, you know what, Adarius? Thank you, because you're looking out for me. Jared would have just played something.
I don't want you to be another Earl in these streets, my nigga. I got to talk to you on the podcast.
Thank you, Adarius, for looking out for me.
No problem.
And we are here with...
Yo, what's going on? This is Brandon, a.k.a. Taco Pablo. You know what? I like to show up early to funerals.
Why is that?
You know,
where did that come from?
So, no, I have a policy of showing up early to any gathering that I'm going to be at. That way I can leave whenever I need to leave. So
Nothing worse than the end of a funeral and everybody starts showing out because half the people have been drinking before the funeral. Some people were drinking during the funeral. I don't know if you've been to a funeral in New Orleans, but that's just how it goes.
I'm about to say, where the funerals? I ain't never been to a funeral that had alcohol.
What?
But before Black Lives Matter, I got a confession. I used to have jungle fever. If you don't know what jungle fever is, it's interracial dating. It's when you favor the Caucasian persuasion. I don't know where I caught jungle fever. I'm sure it was a coffee shop that's being boycotted.
Oh, I see why we got to shut the fuck up, because you got new sound bites.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
other fucking Sunday,
Yeah.
any
Thank
other
you, Jared.
Sunday,
Thank
you
you.
wouldn't care. You wouldn't care about any of that shit. I saw
Nah.
Now since you got new sound bites, hey y'all, could y'all shut up? I gotta play Brandon's sound bite.
I'm just trying to make sure that y'all, we moving on so y'all ain't complaining because, you know.
He does not understand the world.
I would just say for any other time, people are going to be late. Like I could have just recorded my soundbite early. The people that were here could just
I said I was going to be late. I told people ahead of time.
Oh, no, I saw the text and I saw Jerry was like, "Yeah, man, we'll try to time our intros." And you were like, "I'm gonna be there about 2:35," and I was like, "Wait, we're gonna do our intros at 2:35?"
We usually do them around 2:45.
We usually don't start it to then anyway, Brandon. You're right. We usually don't start it to then. We're 15 minutes late on our intros. We started at 3 o'clock exactly. It's taking us 15 minutes to get through.
It's funny. I listened to like our last 5 episodes this week. And I realized Jared does the timestamps, and really the intros really do start like 20 minutes into the show every time. He's like timestamp intros, like it'd be like 15 minutes and 30 seconds, something like that. Something crazy.
Man. And we are here with.
I guess it's everybody's favorite captain, spaceship pilot, Captain P-Funk, coming at you like a one-legged handicapped trucker that still wants some slaves. Story time.
Bitch, you bring me these goddamn cotton drawers. You know I don't wear no fucking cotton drawers.
And we are here with.
What's up, y'all? This is Darius. Today I'm smoking out with your great-great-grandfather, hoping his name was Earl, and hoping he was Earl Stevens, the senior. That means he would have been E40's great-great-grandfather, and I would love to smoke out with him.
The most the black people have ever done, they did it here in America under white people's help. When they were in Africa, they didn't do nothing.
Wow, man. Wow.
Oh, man.
God damn, I really don't want to tear. I want to tear a hole out the side of your head. Man.
Hey, shout out to JD demanding sponsorship.
Oh, man.
That's how I felt about this podcast a few times. You know, if I piss Jared, Brandon, and Darius off, I'll just bring enough government cheese and government programs in here. They'll be all right.
Hey, he's like the pastor version of Alexis K. Tyler, except he's based in Atlanta also.
Is he in Atlanta? He in Harlem. He in Harlem.
Harlem. He's in
Harlem.
Harlem.
I saw a video. It said Atlanta something.
No, the name of his church is Atla.
Oh, yeah. Atla. I see. I thought it was Atlanta something. Anyways, and we are here with our special guest for the day.
Oh, this is Lito-P Marinara, a.k.a. the High Score 510's baseball insider. I'm excited. I got a new segment that's called Black People Saving MLB.
I didn't hear it because Jared was kept yelling, so obviously he didn't want you to say it.
Oh, sorry, pal. Go ahead. Keep reintroduce.
That's it. So I'm very excited about the new special segment that we're going to be rolling out today.
I got to say this just real quick. You know what? Go ahead and do his intro, Jared.
All right.
Go ahead.
The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation.
That dude, one of the foulest stuff come out of his mouth, dude. I'm surprised Trump hasn't picked him up and used him to like.
Is his running mate? Fuck Mike Pence.
Because you can't trust him.
And my name is Jared, aka DJ Art, with 2 T's for a double dose of that tink tink. The quarantine is out now, and the D is silent, so it's just Jart.
Y'all crazy black women buying these black men private jets, the tune of $50 million for a nigga to ride around in a private jet, and you talk about look at our pastor. What's wrong with y'all women? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Was that all from the clip you got from Pedro? Because it was long.
Yeah.
There's actually several of them. That's the one you can't share. One of them, the best stuff you can't share.
Hey, let me ask niggas a question. How do you get a segment on this motherfucking show? I'm curious.
Right.
I'm curious.
Kyle got a sports dedicated segment.
I got a sports dedicated segment. Pedro got story time. You've had other niggas tell stories. Jason got 30 seconds of Jason. I mean, God damn.
Hey, Jared gave you Darius Diaries.
Well, Darius, I'll tell you how you get your own segment.
People, we got to talk to God.
Jared and Darius invented the podcast. I don't understand how you don't have a segment.
I try to give him a segment. But I was like, Darius, you want your own segment, but
you can't even hold on to Harlem.
He's too ready. He got too much good comebacks. He's only gonna talk and come back to this nigga JD Manning. So I gotta just shut the fuck up now.
I owe everybody a beer.
The nigga ain't got no sense.
Is Powell barbecuing right now? He just came in with the largest pair of tongs from outside.
Powell's over here acting like the one white barber at the barbershop, just like doing everything but cutting hair.
That's true, though. That's true.
I remember the barbershop I went to. I don't think he was white. I think he was like Puerto Rican, but he was like real
Honduran.
Yeah, and so nobody ever wanted him to cut their hair because they didn't trust his ass. And he was one dude who was always waiting with the empty seat, so they had him sweeping and doing other random shit.
Jerry, you got your hair cut outside of Berkeley High too?
Yep.
Jared, there was this barbershop I used to go to in San Diego, and you just described exactly it. And I remember he was wearing some Air Max 95s, the gray and the neon green ones, and he had some like calf tats.
Pal, I'm about to blow. Pal, I'm about to blow your mind. I'm about to blow your fucking mind. Suavecito in North Park.
Dude, that's it. It was called Suavecita. I can't believe it.
Oh, damn.
Dude, that's why I was like, I'm about to blow your mind.
You know the dude I'm talking about with the Air Max 95s?
Bro, I know exactly the dude you're talking about from when I was living in San Diego. I went to that exact barber, bro.
You guys act like it's a bunch of brothers out in San Diego.
Well, no, there's not too many black barbershops in San Diego unless you go out to the hood.
Because ain't too many black people here they got to cut. Only people here they got to cut is LaDainian Tomlinson and Tony Gwynn. That was the only black hair they had to cut. For you.
I used to have to drive out. I drove out to La Jolla, from La Jolla all the way. That was the closest spot from La Jolla. Was that spot that had black barbers there? So
let's get into it, pal. Are you there?
I'm lighting my hookah coals, and so they're almost ready. That's why. That's
Who are you, Cardi B? What is this nigga doing?
Paolo.
Dude, 1 second.
It's tight.
Lighting my hookah coals. Give me a second.
Y'all know Tony Gwynn didn't go to no black barbershop. He used guide number 2 in the wall clippers.
Wall with the H. All right. Well,
that's funny.
We're gonna get.
I'm gonna start my own segment today. It's called Shark on You.
I tried to, Darius. I asked you if you want to do a sneakerhead segment, and you could talk about shoes. And
I can talk about shoes in general. I can't talk about what I'm working on, bro.
No, yeah, I know you can't talk about what you're working on, but you could talk about shoes or other Nike products that might be.
Even then, I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and talk about fucking Reeboks, nigga.
No, you need to talk about that dude that played for Cincinnati. They closer that had the Vans cleats. And he kept blowing saves, but he kept blowing saves. I was like, man, he needs to go to Under Armour or some shit because he blowing saves. He was wearing Vans on the mound, dude.
There's this new company that's basically approved by the league to make any shoe you want into actual league certified baseball cleat. They take any shoes you want and then do league certified baseball cleats at the bottom of it.
Okay.
You a black boy.
Right, that's a perfect segue for black people saving MLB.
Yeah. Hey. So today we are introducing a new segment. We are not going to do question of the day, but we're going to intro our new segment with our baseball expert Lito Marinara, and it is called Black People Saving Baseball.
Thank you, Jarrett. I wanted to, just do a quick little scope around the league, all the talent and all the beautiful baseball accolades that are being performed currently right now. And so I'm looking at the top 10 players in MLB right now. Number 1 this week is Jose Abreu of the White Sox, and he's been raking. I think he's he has
4 home runs over the last 2 games.
Exactly. He's just been raking along with the Eloy Jimenez, and so I'm feeling the White Sox, and along with the White Sox, Tim Anderson, who is just been crushing since he got back from his injury. Bryce Harper's having a good week, but we're not going to talk about him.
Cracker ass cracker. We talk about black players, so don't forget about Luis Robert.
This segment's kind of lit, actually.
The fourth on the list of the hottest players in the last week is Brandon Lau. We're also not going to talk about him.
Saltine ass motherfucker.
Yeah, this is fire.
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, baby.
What I want to get into in particular is I want to talk about the man who shook up the world of baseball last week, our friend Fernando Tatis Jr. Last week, he shook up the world by basically loving the game. The Rangers manager was not happy about him swinging on a 3-0 count and hitting a jack. Then the next day, he stole third base when they were up 6-0. What do you guys think about another example of black players saving baseball with Fernando Tatis Jr.?
That shit is like the classic old like white baseball culture. That's just why the sport is dying in general. All those kind of like ethics and whatnot. And we had this whole argument maybe 3 or 4 years ago with when Joey Bats threw his bat, and it was actually against the Rangers, which is a franchise formerly, I think, or even still partially owned by the Bush family and Nolan Ryan. And so the Rangers have a history of kind of promoting this like white baseball culture. And I think it was whack that Tatis had to apologize. I think it was whack that he did apologize. If you look at baseball culture all over the Caribbean, all over Korea, all over Japan, Taiwan, all these places where internationally baseball is huge, these same little cultural rules don't apply. So, I'm in full support of Tatis on that, even though he apologized.
I was going to say the problem is baseball tries to enforce unwritten rules more than they enforce real rules.
Facts.
It's the same sport that motherfuckers took and that people took amphetamines for years. They injected themselves with shit that's supposed to be for horses, androdiastine. They took steroids. They did all that, and they turned their head to it. And it's like, no, man, we ain't going to force this shit that's really illegal to have. The rules we are going to force are these unwritten ones that we had written in code for the longest. Don't swing at a 3-0 pitch. Just let a motherfucker strike you out because your team up.
He's apologizing more than the Astros.
Exactly. Look, more people have been suspended this year for doing stuff they didn't do, for almost doing something, than the Astros got suspended for legit out cheating. Legit out cheating, using technology, signaling people what the pitch was. Astros didn't get one game. Fools get suspended for throwing at somebody and missing.
And it was all the white Latino players. It wasn't the black ones.
Yeah. I heard that they asked Manfred about all the suspensions, and he said,
Satan, the devil, is a lie.
Pedro, what's your take on Fernando Tatis and black players saving baseball this week?
Okay, what happened was the ghost of Ted Williams came out and scared him and said, you must apologize because we have to keep this sport as white as possible.
The ghost of Ted Williams is just a nigga named Earl. You know that, right?
Don't trust no niggas named Earl.
Ghost of Ted Williams and Ty Cobb is rolling over in their graves. All these Negroes celebrating big home runs and stealing bases.
You niggas are crazy.
Brandon, what do you think about Fernando Tatis and his base stealing and home run hitting on counts that you're not supposed to swing in an unwritten rule? How's that make you feel?
I think it's great. I think you really got to hammer out these. Like usually it's just like one player that does it, but I feel like there's starting to become a movement, like where players are starting to ignore those unwritten rules because they're coming up at a different time, and people from different cultures are entering baseball. And I think I'm gonna love seeing this play out over the course of the season because it's not the last time he's gonna do that, but it's gonna really he's really gonna have to take a stand as a coach. Which rules is he gonna follow? Because in a sport where you can really score 14 runs in an inning, like we need all the runs we can get when we can get them. And number two, so like, is he gonna sit? Is he gonna bench the guy for stealing third or swinging on a pitch? Like he's not going to do that. So obviously, whatever his problem with it is a moot point in general, right? Like, oh, my coach doesn't like me, but guess what? I'm going to be in the starting lineup tomorrow. You can't sit me because I'm playing too well.
Again, they're trying to send this "get in your place, boy" message because honestly, Tatis is the youngest, best player in baseball. Like he is Kobe. He is, going to be one of the great, in my opinion, one of the greatest players to ever play baseball. You could see already at 21. I mean, he's just light years ahead of everybody else, and baseball's not marketing him, that's still pushing this dad strength, Mike Trout bullshit. And, to target one of the game's up-and-coming rising stars on some bullshit like that, it's the culture war in baseball continues, and I think that's at its finest.
Darius, you got any takes on the cultural war that's going on as black players are trying to save baseball?
If you look at the beginning of the season before they started the 60 piece, they did all these stories on the players who were like kind of taking over for the COVID, responding because of the COVID rosters. It was like a big thing, but it was also because like we were coming out of all these racial injustice protests and march and gatherings and demonstrations. And so it seemed like it was the thing to do, and the league really gravitated towards that strategy of like, showing their players kneeling on the field and showing the all black players in the locker room having camaraderie. And,
putting BLM all these mounds on opening day.
Exactly, bro. I was watching all that shit. I was actually excited for baseball because of what COVID had done to it, the way Brandon was articulating the season. I just was kind of juiced about it. And then, like, over the last couple of weeks, you can clearly tell that the commentators, the organizational structure, the presidents, everything is still in place. So you're not going to get forward momentum when it comes to these conversations. And so it's a little sad, I think, in marketing and in understanding. They're trying to get there, but, like, in actuality, the league, MLB, may be further off than NFL, truthfully.
Just despite the history and all that, it is the black players that are saving baseball, that are the next crop of superstars. And, as Dari said, the owners, the MLB, it's all driving it into the ground.
It's crazy because they put the BLM thing on there. They let players kneel, and they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. We're going to stand in solidarity or kneel in solidarity or show their signs of solidarity. And then black players are like, oh, so we can be ourselves now. We are emancipated. We can be ourselves. And basically, like, hold on. Slow, pump the brakes.
What a silly Negro.
It's like, pal, any player you're looking forward to seeing this week, black player this week that you're going to keep an eye on, or we should keep an eye on.
I'm going to go with, again, another White Sox, Eloy Jimenez, who's been, the kind of next in line behind Jose Abreu. And just, I feel like the Robert, Anderson, Abreu, Jimenez, Moncada, the White Sox lineup is really going to hit their stride and start raking, as we've seen Abreu and Eloy break out.
Shout out to Moncada. I'll double down there, bro. I think he's actually going to be saucy as fuck. I watched a game with him too. True.
Well, let's get into some news. Some news this week. In news, Lyft and Uber have been granted a stay so that they will not shut down their California services. In early August, a circuit court judge ruled that they needed to change their labor practices so that their drivers were no longer contract workers and not protected by certain California state labor laws. In response, Lyft and Uber said they could not change their practices fast enough within the 10-day span. When their appeals were declined, they then said they would shut down services in California. However, thankfully, they were given a stay so they can change their practices while they're also still trying to push Proposition 22 in California, which would give their contract workers different protections and better protections. However, contract workers are not granted traditional state labor laws. What do you guys think about that?
I know some people are looking at it from the consumer standpoint of having Uber and Lyft shut down in California. But the real way you need to look at it is from the worker standpoint. It was a great thing that California ruled that they were no longer, what was it, contract workers?
Oh, yeah, they couldn't.
That you can't just keep hiring contract workers and having no rights for them, no rights for anybody. And while, yes, it sucks for the consumer, but it protects the worker, which will protect us all in the future. Like, I've been saying that about the gig economy, period. The contract worker does not protect us all. It doesn't give into a society as a whole. It gives to whoever the heads up of a corporation or anything, and the people on the board of these corporations are the ones that benefit from contract workers. It was a sad day for the employees, the people who work and drive for Uber and Lyft. I mean, I know some of them are happy, like, oh, I could work again, but it's like, man, you could be a slave again. Yes.
Brandon, I know you're big on the gig economy. How do you feel about this stay being so that Lyft and Uber can continue to run?
I don't know when I became this gig economy patsy, but
according to Aaron,
he used to fight me on it when I was going off on the gig economy.
No, man, I think it's ultimately good. I don't know, like thinking about it from like a 360 view, right? So California is like the most liberal state, right? We have the Democratic state legislature, we got a Democratic governor, right? And we tend to do these more social and more socially woke policies, right? Tend to. And so with this, right, we want to do the right thing by the workers, but at the same time, a lot of people are depending on the income of driving for Lyft and Uber to like get their rent paid this month, right? Even though it's a shitty deal, right? Even though you put all these miles on your car, you're, ultimately losing money in the long run. Like for a lot of people, they really need that cash right now. And to like impart this right now, like not just delay it for a little bit longer, I think is the wrong move. But as far as I think everybody needs employee protections. I think that's ultimately what we need to get towards. I don't think it's fair that they get to keep as much money as they do. I mean, I'm not saying that Uber and Lyft and all these other gig economy businesses shouldn't be like filthy rich or whatever. They can't make any money, but I just think the percentages are off right now.
Yeah.
As far as like how much like Uber gets to keep and how much Lyft gets to keep, because it is a valuable service, man. Like a lot of people don't have cars, and like it's made it super affordable for people to get from point A to point B without actually having a car. So I don't want to lose sight of that. But I think in their quest for like sort of world domination, it gets sort of lost. Like, okay, cool. Like we probably need to pay our drivers more than what we do. We need to be more thoughtful about their safety and their care, because like ultimately it comes down to a bunch of strangers getting into another stranger's car.
It reminds me of the UFC a little bit, and shout out to UFC sponsorship, but run by some terrible human beings. But yeah, like the fighters are getting paid. I think the fighter salaries account for like less than 20% of the revenue that they bring in. Right. So like they're getting, so the UFC and its corporation is retaining 80% of the monies. And it's like you have this roster of fighters. We understand you got to pay all your fighters when they fight. They're under contract for that. But they're like contract workers in that way, where they can be cut. They don't get certain protections. I think when they're in contract to fight, they can get some medical attention if they need, but it typically has to be surrounding their fighting. I'm not certain. I don't want to misquote myself, but the bottom fighters are only making $12K to fight one fight, which they can get seriously injured. And I think that they're protected. They get medical attention after the fight if they need it, that the UFC takes care of. But for the most part, other than that, like that's their pay. And if they get a win, they get a bonus. But if they don't win, they're walking away with $12K. They got to pay their trainers, they got to pay their gym, and they're paying for everything else that goes into being a professional fighter. If you're making $12 to $20K a fight and you only fight 2, maybe 3 times a year, a lot of these fighters have to have second jobs, and they can't really be a professional athlete. They're a pseudo pro-am athlete. So I think
the other Mark just took my run instead of taking the white run, and
all right,
he's screwing up everything.
I don't think he's talking to us.
They were already screwed up.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry I couldn't get in on that segment because I used to drive.
Pedro,
trust me, Pedro, you were in on the segment twice.
Yes.
You know what? We got all your clips.
Well, damn. For some reason, it just unmuted on its own. I totally shut the app down. Then the second time, I'm like, this dude come up to me, asked me a whole bunch of questions that how the hell am I supposed to know?
I cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
Now, the sturge for anything travel is astronomical. It's almost to the point where you're paying another service just to get minimum wage, basically. So you really gotta watch out. Like the Uber drivers really got, like Adarius was saying, those they have the app insurance companies. The same thing like in trucking. It's gotten so ridiculous with all the lawsuits and everything, that where it's almost like if I tried to run my own MC number, if I was an owner-operator, I try to run my own MC number. Although I've been driving for 2 decades, insurance is still crazy for me because I've never been an owner-operator. Although I've been driving, although you have experience, so there's really no way for you to win out unless you're under a huge authority. And Uber should have been taking care of that part.
I'm curious as to the timing of it all. California is not a place of economic equality, and California's labor laws are not, are written by corporations, and same with our national labor laws. So
let me tell you what they need to do, man.
As to what the motivation in this case is coming from California, especially on the backdrops of the rest of our economy being ravaged by the elite.
What was happening was they were threatening to shut down in California because of them having to conform to this labor law and basically reach the mandates that were expected within 10 days. They said they couldn't do it in 10 days and that they needed a stay to give them longer time to be able to fall in line with that. They're hoping to push it down the road so that when the November elections come around, that they can have people vote and approve Prop 22, which is very friendly to them. Will give some more protections, but will still maintain the contract worker status for all their drivers, which would then allow them to kind of parlay and mold some of their practices into a form that's a little more protecting of their drivers, but not under the same labor laws that the state mandates. So it's kind of a big deal because this is a proposition that's going to push gig corporations where they're able to maybe manipulate and have it to where they have contract workers that get a little more protections than general contract workers, but they still don't fall under labor laws, which then for the workers and how many people they employ, a big part of government, at least in my eyes, is that you facilitate equal and equitable, experience as an American citizen. You help facilitate these things, and there's certain laws that will protect the citizens of your country, regardless of where they work. And regardless of where you stand in a corporation, you are still a citizen of this country, or you're still represented by this country in some way, and you're still somebody who's a participant, that there should be laws and there should be mandates that allow people to have equal protections and live that American dream. Because, when you are down on your luck, it's not, pick yourself up by your bootstraps all the time. It's you have a community, you have a civic understanding that you're going to be supported by your community, by your city, by your government, and that you have those protections. And just like I believe in, universal health care and free education, these are things that facilitate equal and equitable experiences and lives as citizens of the United States of America. And if you're not a citizen, you come here for that. But the American dream is been masked to be basically the wet dream of rich, wealthy capitalists who, in all the media and all their TV shows and everything they put out there, there's always underlying tones of the perspective and the lens of somebody who is rich, affluent, and has a lot of money. And they want us to have sensibilities based upon their sensibilities. They want us to see what they go through and how difficult their life is with all their resources and how stressful it is, so that we feel sorry for the people who have all the money and all the resources to be able to pay for any of the challenges and troubles they go through. So I just think that there's something to be said about, standardizing the ability for employees to live a sustained American dream, quote unquote, where you have those protections and you have a government that is helping facilitate a equal and equitable experience and opportunities.
It's the same thing I started with. There have been rideshare companies in the Bay Area that have tried to start that paid their drivers basically 50% or 60%, right?
Out of business.
But nobody was no one riding in those companies, and guess what? They went out of business because they had no money to advertise, right? So like when those things happen, guess what? Whoever's gonna you can't expect that everyone who's ridden in Uber has supported Uber, right? Like you vote with your bank account. The same thing like
I ain't never supported Uber. I ain't rode Uber one.
Right? The same thing. I know you ride Lyft. I know it's like I don't go to Walmart, I go to Target. Like it's the same.
Nah, that's two different things.
It's the same thing.
One place is closer to one place is like Kmart.
I go to the blue store, not the red store. Like that's just really what it comes down to.
No, the women are totally different in Walmart and Target.
Exactly.
You've seen the pictures.
Okay, I agree with that.
Shit. All right. Well, let's move on to some sports, guys. Let's get into some sports. In NFL news, there is a shakeup in the league. A Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, and possibly a Hall of Famer has been released this week by his team. Earl Thomas was sent home on Friday and asked not to come back Saturday after a fight with one of his other safeties during a practice rep after a blown coverage. Thomas had just signed a 4-year, $50+ million deal last season to join the Baltimore Ravens, a playoff and Super Bowl contender. What do you guys think about that?
Is this your Nardwuar voice?
Yeah.
No, I think, until we have guaranteed contracts, man, teams can do whatever they want to do. That doesn't mean players can't do whatever they want to do, man. Apparently, that was his second fight with a teammate in the last year. Like physical altercation, as they described it. And I think John Harbaugh and Ozzie Newsome do a good job over there. Just say, hey man, we ain't over here with this bullshit. Like you go do that on the Cowboys, but you can't do that here. So I think
you can have him, Jared.
I think
he's getting past his prime.
I think it was a good move by them. Especially, if you're having a fight over something else. Obviously, Earl Thomas has some personal issues going on.
He got several personal issues. His name is Earl. We talked about this earlier. You can't trust the nigga named Earl.
I think his brother probably named Earl, too.
My name is Earl, and he's Earl. Dude, what's crazy is that, it was over. They showed the play in question, and he got mad and pulled his helmet off and threw it down, and the clip ends. But I'm like, bro, it's a practice rep. It wasn't even like it was like a scrimmage where it seemed like they were like in the heat of the battle. There was hella people standing. There was hella people standing behind like the O-line and to the side of the O-line where the play was being run. So obviously it wasn't like 4-down situation where they're running a 2-minute drill. It was just like, here, we're running a play. You guys play this defense and we're going to just run this play and see what happens. And Earl Thomas lost his shit.
He lost his shit. I heard it went on for a while. That's another reason they said went on for a while. He was the aggressive one. And the sad part about it, according to things I read, he was the one that blew it. Earl Thomas was the one that he fucked up. He was the one in the wrong spot, and then he took it too far.
My thing is, after seeing Earl Thomas get thrown around like a little child against Derrick Henry last year, where he shoved him and he started running away from Derrick Henry and then tried to turn around and try and still tackle him.
Don't forget the week before when he was on a bye, he talked shit.
In the famous words of Milt, shout out to Milt sponsorship, he might not don't got it anymore.
So in his defense, do you see the size of Derrick Henry?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, Derrick Henry does that to a lot of people.
Yeah, but
Derrick Henry did to everybody the week before, but Earl Thomas talked shit. That's why he talked shit about the defenders who couldn't tackle him. Who did they? The Patriots. He kept talking shit about the Patriots and how they couldn't tackle him.
I forgive him for talking shit about the Patriots. Everybody should talk about shit about the Patriots at least once a week.
He didn't back it up the next week.
He didn't get back. Dude, he got shoved off. He tried to go up to him. He shoved him off of him. He stumbled like he was in a fight and got punched in the back of his head and was trying to get away from the people who was punching him, and then tried to turn back around and try and be like, let's go again. And just like
he basically was running side by side with him getting dragged to the end zone.
But you see that happening with a lot of defenders that try to stop that big man. That dude, the physical, he's like a fast Cam Newton.
Faster Cam Newton.
It is a faster Cam Newton. It's like, man, once he starts his downtrot, I don't know what safety can take him on head on.
Yeah.
You gotta go after his feet. And it still ain't going down.
Yeah, he would have better off just diving at his feet and having him jump over him and be like, I guess he was quicker than me in that one. Instead of getting thrown, instead of getting thrown backwards and then you start running away from him like he's trying to kill you. Shout out to Cowboys sponsorship. I know you guys might be trying to sign him.
So how long before the Cowboys sign him, Jared?
I don't know, honestly.
How many days?
I don't know if they
the Cowboys or the Raiders.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be the Cowboys because Jerry Jones has that sinker or bust won't in him licking his eye.
And he is Texas boy.
Or bust.
Yeah.
Well, they could have signed him before he went to the Ravens, but they didn't.
Not for the money that he got signed.
No, he got signed for like $12 million a year or something like that.
For that money.
Yeah. So
now they can get him on a discount.
Yeah, they can get him at a cheap rate for 1 year, maybe with a second year option, but we'll see. Hey, my question is the NFL the gig economy of sports?
Yes.
No. I don't know. There's a higher bar to get to that gig, though. Like I feel like anybody can sign up for it.
True.
Ask Rabbit.
Anybody can't sign up for it. Everybody can't play it. So I'm gonna go with the no.
Okay. Well, just check it. Cool. Do they have similar business practices, though?
No, not even close. Not even close.
Yeah,
you're an independent contractor.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not an independent contractor. NFL players can go to the doctor.
Their players can go to the doctor. They get better health benefits, and don't forget. You can't part if you're decent. Once you get your second contract, parts of it always guaranteed. It might not be a lot, but parts of it guaranteed.
Well, what if Uber and Lyft just started guaranteeing if drivers get in accidents, they'll cover them for unlimited Toradol?
The Uber and Lyft won't be in business no more.
You can't be Aaron. You can't be touting the NFL's medical policy when their business is to keep you on the field and healthy. Like you can't be like, man, you get all the jokes you want.
I said they got doctors. They might give you DSAO. You might get some horse tranquilizers, but you're getting something. You can't even get that with Uber and Lyft. You getting an Uber and Lyft accident, it's like, hey man, just shoot me whatever the fuck. Give me that old Russian horse tranquilizer. I'll work with that.
That would be tight. It would be tight if James Woods came and was just like the resident Lyft and Uber doctor, like from when he was on Any Given Sunday. And he's
just shooting you in the ass. At least I get shot in the ass in the NFL.
And they can
ruin my kidneys. I won't have kidneys in 5 years, but at least I got something, right? I get an accident Uber Lyft. I just got, hey, guess what my pain medication is? Whichever bottle of 40 ounce that's on sale at the liquor store down the street.
That and bankruptcy.
Come on. Who did Lawrence Taylor play in Any Given Sunday?
He played a guy that was in the steam room that said, "Bam. When all this is said and done, a man's worth should be more than just what he do in pads and cliques." Deep. It was deep. Lawrence Taylor was deep. Deep, man. I wonder how much cocaine did he have guaranteed in that contract?
I don't know. They should have him Luther Shark LeVay. That was his name. They should have him come on as Luther Shark LeVay and be the keynote speaker.
You're telling me Lawrence Taylor didn't learn about all Molly and ecstasy while he was on the set of Any Given Sunday?
That's true.
All those younger dudes.
He learned about other drugs.
Cocaine. Now we got pills now.
The second greatest line he had from that is when Jim Brown was going off. And your boy Lawrence Taylor at Shark yelled, Coach, calm down. You're going to have a stroke. He's like, I don't get strokes, I give them. I was like, and the sad part is I thought Jim Brown was going to have a stroke too while I was doing all that yelling. I'm like, this motherfucker had a stroke on camera. Like, you know how that, what's that movie, Apocalypse Now? And that scene where your boy Charlie Sheen dad was going crazy. And then he actually was tearing up stuff and then was sweating. And little did as you see Art of Darkness or whatever it was, Hearts of Darkness, you saw that he really had a heart attack during that scene. They had to call the paramedics and he got taken away. That's what I thought was going on with Jim Brown in that scene. I thought he was really having a stroke.
Brown, yeah, like he said, if you handle that many young women, shit, your heart is strong.
He's stupid.
His heart is strong, but I don't know. He might get a couple of clots here and there.
He need to, yeah. Dr. Harvey Mandrake was played by James Woods in that movie.
Yeah, he was sleazy as fuck in that
Call
movie.
Dr. Mandrake.
Oliver Stone know how to make people take something that has a medical profession around and just make it ultra sleazy. And the sad part is he got the idea for the story from a former team doctor. So that dude must be really sleazy.
Yeah, for real.
Horrible football movie, Brandon. Would you agree? Any Given Sunday?
Horrible football movie.
Not horrible. The football in it was horrible.
Oh yeah, that was you remember was that NFL Blitz for like Xbox or whatever?
So tell me this: Any Given Sunday or the program? Which movie you like more?
No, I like the program. Program's one of like the better football movies.
I agree. I like the program too.
I also like Necessary Roughness.
Yes, I agree. I'll take that over Any Given Sunday. I was so hyped. Any Given Sunday came out. It was my first year out of college. I was hyped. I remember this woman that I work with. She was actually engaged to this Italian dude, so he didn't really watch football. So she was so hyped. So she went by herself to watch it, and we came back to talk about it because we always talk football. And
wait, you went to a movie with a woman who was engaged?
No. We went separately, and then we talked about it afterwards.
Okay.
No. Tell the truth, Aaron.
No, that is true.
He went to the movie with my wife.
Yeah.
Pedro bought the popcorn.
I was saying Pedro was there because we snuck in. We saw Transformers and we snuck in and watched another movie. And so and she was just like, Aaron, I like the writing, I like everything else, but that football was bullshit. Said, what the fuck? People flip it. She was going off on the football. Terrible football. I was like,
Has anyone had any sexual exploits in movie theater?
No, not me.
Oh, that's
Dated
a good segue.
beautiful wide women, so yes.
I'm not much for public sex, pal.
All right.
Not much of it. I mean, I've had public sex before, but I'm not much for it. I'd rather just go home or, go in the hallway or somewhere, something.
You make use of the house.
Make use of the house, hallways, Pedro's wife's, Pedro's bed, things like that.
Come on.
Pedro's mom's couch.
Okay, there's another story. That's a true story.
Oh, shit. Quick hitters. Remember, Quick Hitters is our popcorn segment where we throw out a topic and we just bounce around, give one-liners, give quick takes on it. Hop in when you can and give a quick take. Quick hitters.
Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa.
Sorry about that. I accidentally hit that. Quick hitters.
Quick hitters.
Bang, 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 daddy, bang, bang.
Quick hitters. Our first quick hitter, Meg Thee Stallion, came out this week and wanted to silence her critics. She came out and told the truth and admitted it was Tory Lanez who shot her and that she did nothing to physically accost or threaten him. Yet instead, when she tried to leave the vehicle after an argument, he came out and started shooting.
Tory Lanez, you a bad shot.
Tory Lanez might be like 5'3", maybe. He's not a big dude. And Megan Thee Stallion might be like 6 feet tall. It's hard to say what could have happened in that car where he would get so upset where I need to shoot her. But I can see how Tory Lanez could possibly feel physically threatened.
She was walking away, Brad.
She got out the car.
Was
away.
walking.
But you don't know what she said. Hey, I'm going to be back with my goons or something like that. You better watch out. Well, you're not going to get very far.
Her platform is based off of really shaking that ass.
That's what his platform's based off, by the way, also.
Yeah, it's IG Live.
How do we know that her friend wasn't throwing punches at him. She said she never hit him.
She can punch me all she wants. I take that as sexual contact.
Shout out to Tory Lanez. Hey, bruh, sometimes you might just need to take that ass woman because right now you look like a way bigger bitch.
The devil's advocate in me wants to think that he was like trying to just shoot at her feet to scare her. Because who really shoots someone in the foot? It's not easy to do.
He was trying to make her dance.
Now, any dude that's got to carry a gun or threaten a female with a gun, it's a whole new place in hell.
When certain brothers get guns, they just get real ignorant and act like they don't think ricocheting exists.
I've never seen anything like this in our entertainment day, where one entertainer shoots not even just a female entertainer, another entertainer, and nothing really happens.
Maybe as black people, we moving up in the world because, you know, back in the day, Fatty Arbuckle choked and killed the woman in his suite in the St. Francis Drake Hotel in San Francisco and got away with it. Your boy Robert Wagner gets in a fight with Natalie Wood on the boat. And like I said, next thing I know, I'm watching this motherfucking Heart to Heart in the 80s. And I'm hearing about and watching documentaries on Natalie Wood now. Obviously, he drowned her ass, right?
Who the fuck is Patty Arbuckle, bro?
Fatty Arbuckle, man. You know, there's tons of you know, white actors in Hollywood who got away with murdering other white actors. Maybe now Tory Lanez is getting away. We coming up. That's what I'm trying to say. We coming up as people if we could get away with stuff.
You just know he's really from the hood because he ain't hit nothing. He's gonna have to try again.
Over there shooting like Omar Epps in Deep Cup.
That was in too deep. That was in too deep.
In too deep.
Shout out to Tory Lanez. Sponsorship. Come on our show. Tell your side of the story, or we really don't care to hear it. You shot somebody in the foot. So, nigga, please.
So like Trump inviting somebody on the show and then immediately disinviting them because you realize they
don't
like you.
Because it took him a second to realize he was inviting in someone that committed violence towards a woman for no reason.
You want to invite somebody, invite the lady in the back seat to sing and everything with her own two eyes and give her my phone number.
I heard your boy Tory Lanez was screaming at Meg Thee Stallion during the confrontation in the shooting.
I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem.
Announcers this week. Sports announcers when keeping it real goes wrong or just they fucking up. This week, Tom Brenneman, a Cincinnati Reds play-by-play announcer and an NFL play-by-play announcer for Fox, was caught this week on a hot mic saying a homophobic slur. He was promptly removed from the live broadcast and came out later to apologize and said he may never be on a mic again, but he is a man of faith. In other news, also, the Hornets play-by-play radio announcer was suspended because of a mistype on his tweet. John Falk wrote, "Shot making in this Jazz niggers game is awesome. Murray and Mitchell going back and forth. What a game." What do y'all think about those two things?
First of all, I like the way you spelled out fag, but then said nigga.
I identify with the cause.
No, that's the problem. Nah, fuck you, Jip. Thank you, Brandon. That's the problem with the world.
My problem is, John Falk, we all have smartphones, and we all have phones that kind of learn how we predictive text.
Right.
N-word is not something that comes up on predictive text on a brand new phone, or at least I would hope not. So if that is on predictive text, then we should, you know what I'm saying, have a conversation with Apple or whoever his service provider is.
What if he bought his phone secondhand off of, Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion? I'm sure that was said plenty of times in that call.
Or somebody in Jacksonville.
But if it isn't, then we know that motherfucker has spelled that word several times.
He bought a secondhand refurbished phone off of my boy Box Kev. It's gonna say the N-word as soon as you type it in. It's gonna predict it as soon as you type it in.
I will defend him. I will defend him real quickly. I have several iterations of the word nigga in my phone to the point that if I fuck up when I spell Nike, it actually autocorrects to nigs.
Shout out to the Charlotte Hornets for paying their announcer so little that he got to buy his phones on Craigslist.
Right, you have this version spelled out in your phone.
No, well, maybe I called Jared it enough.
What happened to John Park? He bought his phone from Boots Mobile at one of them kiosks in the Black Mall.
He definitely says nigga to other people, but I'm defending the fact that it could have autocorrect from nuggets to niggas if he's typed in niggas enough.
No. Adarius, this is a hard ER.
Maybe it's Fatty Arbuckle's phone.
Fatty Arbuckle.
What if he majored in African American studies and he did like a research paper about it?
He typed a research paper on his phone?
What if he got his phone? Fox News did a giveaway and he got his phone from there.
What if he just likes Thelonious Monk and he likes listening to jazzy niggas? What's the problem?
What if he was in a time machine and he went back in time and gave the phone to one of his family members just so they could get ahead on stock market and stuff, and it was a common place to use that word then, and they just left it for him in a safe deposit box like the Terminator or some shit?
What if it was Allen Iverson's phone and he actually did say nuggets and niggas and replaced those all the time?
Or maybe he uses that phone to communicate with his Call of Duty group, man. Maybe he just...
Yeah, how could you accidentally trying to type nuggets and get that word? Because I just typed in, I almost accidentally misspelled nuggets with the ER. It comes up nut. When you put in nugger, it comes up nuggets. It corrects to the right thing. I'll be honest with you. I ain't got no problem with him typing the word himself. Look, he can have a group of racist friends, and this is their outlet to talk shit to each other. It happens. I'm not gonna act like it don't happen, right? Let's not be fools.
The Jazz have a lot of black players on there. Maybe he just was calling them the Jazz niggas.
These Jazz niggas can play.
Yeah, these Jazz niggas is good. Maybe he was trying to fall in line with slang, man. He was like, I'm watching these Jazz niggas kill it.
I'm waiting for the solo.
The bigger deal is the one for the Cincinnati when commentator when he thought he had a dead mic and it was live, and he called his own city the FAG capital of the world.
He's probably listening to your boy J.D. Manning.
You talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis. Look what's going on in Zimbabwe now with Mugabe. We got a problem, black folk.
The funny part is, I wish you had the clip where he was telling how he's not gonna be in front of the mic anymore, and dude hit a home run. That was the funny part.
Yeah, he stopped the middle of the apology for a home run. I was like, man, not only is this kind of a bullshit apology, like because he's saying his faith thing, but he interrupts it and talks about the home run during the middle of the apology. He stops and just talks about the home run. So Cincinnati's been like forefront. I know in the Bay Area it's hard to imagine anybody else having gay rights and other laws that's being fast, but Cincinnati's been like the forefront. They like have a real growing gay community. They have passed like really laws and everything. They've really been like riding the wave really well. They've been doing what they should have, what other places should be done. That's why all the Cincinnati senators and people that work in politics there came out and shut that down right away. I'm like, look, there's no place for this. We demand he's gone, because they have really built a really inviting and not just tolerant, an inviting city for LGBTQTSF people.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I know I probably messed up the acronym, but you know I'm going at.
Yeah.
This magic moment.
All right, let's get to quick Cutty Corner shoutouts. Cutty Corner shoutouts is our segment we end the show with, where everyone gets the floor to complain, rant, or talk about something that is upsetting them, or shed light on something positive. Cutty Corner shoutouts.
It's time.
We're burning now. God, if you let it in, hell. So cold and bleeding now. I'm in for this, man. Gonna let you down. He had sex with my mama. We're broken people now. I just said I need a
Aaron, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
I do. My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to the trophy generation. I don't want to call out any name. I don't know who it is and what the age range is, but the trophy generation is this generation who people grew up, and the kids nowadays, and people who feel like everybody deserves a trophy. So that family that makes like majority of the trophies in the United States, it's a brother and sister family that do it. They own the big factory. They do it all. So they said their parents owned that when they're growing up, and they were like, we grew up like middle class. We had a house. Our bills were paid. We were able to like go on trips here and there, car trips, right? They're like, but my parents were probably bringing in maybe $45,000 a year, and that was all their jobs, was to create trophies. And now it's a $1 billion industry for this family. Crazy thing is I'm watching. This is why it ties in today. I'm watching the Champions League final today, which is, if people you don't know, in Europe, the top teams, in like top 3 or 4 teams in each of the different countries, they play in the league all year. So in the middle of the week, they go and play each other, and to determine who's the best team in all of Europe. So
that's club teams.
Club teams. So instead of just beating up like Man United back in the day, instead of just easily beating up on Leeds and QPR and those teams. Sorry, I called out those two because those are the 2 Irish people, one Irish person and one half English person's favorite teams. But instead of just beating up on the weaker teams, you have a big trophy that everybody's fighting for, that the top teams are fighting for. The final was today between Bayern Munich and PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. It was a dope game. It was dope soccer on the highest level. The game ended 1-0. And this is what I couldn't get. The team that loses stays out there to get a trophy. That gets me. I mean, I don't understand, why do we feel the need to pass out trophies in second place? Did the Germans get a medal after World War I or World War II? Did the U.S. get a participation trophy on April 30th, 1975 and decided to leave Vietnam? Nah. And they pulled out of Vietnam faster than I was pulling out in college. I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm just waiting for the special episode of Mythbusters or Monster Hunters. Maybe they'll do a special episode where they go throughout every basement in Munich and Nuremberg and look for Hitler's second place medal. As I'm watching this shit, the referees cross the medal stand and they got a fucking medal. And the fucking people working VAR and working the fucking sidelines. Everybody in that fucking stadium got a medal today. What the fuck are we at to the point where we just hand out medals to everybody? They need a trophy. That makes them feel better. Maybe that makes up, when you're too old for mama to kiss your boo-boos and put a Band-Aid on it, you got to get us some shitty-ass trophy.
My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to Bad Advice from Bad Messengers. Like, I'm really going to start being a little more discerning about who I take advice from. Without getting into too many specifics while revealing this person's name. I'm just going to say, if you like, sometimes if I vent or if I'm talking to you about something, I don't necessarily need you to solve the issue. I just need you to listen, and I need to talk to somebody just to hear me out. Just hear me out. You don't need to fix it for me. Just hear me out. Just let me know, like, I don't have to sit in my room and talk to myself. I just want you to hear me. Let me know that you understand the issue, and then let me go about my day. You don't have to try to fix for me. You don't have to follow.
That helps you process it just to say it yourself.
Exactly. Maybe you have some questions about it that I haven't thought of myself. So ask me questions about it, right? Like, get into it with me. But you don't have to necessarily fix it for me, especially when you don't have any experience that necessary in that realm. So yeah, my Cutty Corner shout goes out to Bad Advice. Just, you know what? Ask the person if they want advice about it. Just hey man, do you want to know what I would do? Do you need some advice? Or are you just venting? Like, just check in with your friends about like that way.
What do you mean? You don't call Angela Yee to ask for advice? Marriage advice?
Angela Yee got that half Asian, half black. She could call me though.
Darius, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Yeah, I do. My Cutty Corner shout out this week is going to go to this thing. I don't know if I've ever given a Cutty Corner shout out, but maybe it's time. It goes out to a company called Latch.
Oh, you did.
Latch.
You gave a Cutty Corner shout out last month about Latch.
Okay, well, here's an update to my Cutty Corner shout out from the last time I talked about Latch. It is an app. It is an app that helps you unlock your apartment. And it's the only way that you can get into the apartment if you use this app. So this week, another couple, they went out to their car and forgot their phone. Now, a couple things happened. One was high, 2 smelled like weed, and 3, they were right and awkward. And because of Latch, I had to interact willingly because I wanted to help and be a good citizen with 2 people who definitely thought I was going to rob them. But somehow I had access to their building. So I was a savior. And, I just want to say, Latch, man, F you for causing these like weird racial conversations in my apartment and interactions. You almost got a white person stabbed, and then you almost got the black person shot by the police last night. Just know that, yeah, man, Latch, you need to get your shit together and come up with a better way to let people in the house, because you are fucking up the racial conversation.
Well, Pedro, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Yes, I do. Okay. My Cutty Corner shout out goes to one-legged white man with Viking tattoos. I'm not going to give a name, but he's got a prosthetic leg and a Viking tattoo. And also lonely truckers. Look, if you see me on the phone with my earpiece in, that means I'm having a conversation with somebody, and it ain't you. I am talking to somebody. It ain't that. You ain't got nothing important to do. All you got is an automatic tractor and a trailer hooked up to the back. You don't need to know shit. Don't ask me questions about shit. Okay? Number two, if you're a racist and it's rooted in your heart to be a racist, please stop trying to bring up conversations with the only minority drivers at the company. Just stay in your truck, go in your room, call the racist people you know. I had this guy talk to me while I was eating, and I was doing something on the phone trying to divert my attention. And he said, "Hey, do you talk politics with anybody?" I was like, "No, I do not talk politics with anybody at work. I do not social media with any employees at work. No, I do not." And he still wanted to come out with his story. That somebody walked up and, hey, somebody at the grocery store was like, "Hey, don't you wish you had a slave? Don't you wish they were still slaves?" And he's telling me this story. I'm like, "Why are you telling me this story?" It's like, yeah, this guy must have been prejudiced or racist or something. Man, what would I do with a slave? First of all, you just made up that story just so you can strike a conversation with me, because you seen I was busy and not paying you no attention. I'm about to go in. I apologize to anybody in a cripple or anybody. I have special needs. I have a special needs son. So I actually know somebody with special needs. So don't take this to offense. But if you're racist and you got one leg, get your funky ass out of my face with your bull before I cut the other leg off. This dumb motherfucker gonna come just make up a story. I knew the shit was made up when he kept going. Who the want talk about wanting to have a slave nowadays that you met in the grocery store just gonna bring that conversation up? I damn near wanted to yank that motherfucker's leg off and beat him with it.
It sounds like you were beefing with an extra from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Sounds like Doris is on the toilet right now.
You know, I tried to be nice. Something happened to the guy where he lost his leg because he got in an altercation. And everybody knows that. But when you don't learn from it, you need your other leg taken. Trying to drive that motherfucking truck in a wheelchair.
My Cutty Corner shout out, positive one, goes out to Kamala Harris. She's a Bay Area native and was nominated as Joe Biden's VP. Although not the combination that I was hoping for personally, and I know a lot of people on a similar political wavelength as myself were not hoping for, it is still a semblance of progress, and it is great to see a black woman. Not as though we are, as J.D. Manning said, one monolithic race and one monolithic culture, but to see progress of a black woman as a vice presidential candidate, breaking down another barrier or achieving something that has yet to be achieved by a ethnic group, black person in our country, I think is great to see. And we haven't really talked about it, but just want to shout that out and give a shout out to Kamala Harris. I hope that you're willing to keep Joe Biden afloat. Because when they need something to be said, it's going to be on you, girl. My second Cutty Corner shout out goes out to what we were talking about earlier. And no offense to white people. I love you, white people. Shout out sponsorship. But old white man syndrome, I need you and your beautiful white women to stop ruining the opportunity we have to see black players play baseball. Fernando Tatis was lighting up the baseball world. He was balling, home run after home run, stealing bases. Motherfucker is tight. I should have drafted him in my fantasy draft. You have players with different cultural backgrounds. You have players who celebrate in different ways. This ain't the 1930s. This ain't the 1920s. This ain't Jim Crow segregation America no more. So that whole little stick up my ass, hoity-toity, got to be acting a certain way when you're playing a sport, it just gets on my damn nerves. And I'm tired of seeing it still rear its head. I'm tired of seeing some players who are still trying to act like this is the way you're supposed to play the game. Shout out to Trevor Bauer, sponsorship, for calling that shit out and saying this is some bullshit, hit more home runs, throw your bat even further next time. You know what I'm saying? We need more players who are willing to celebrate the game. Why is baseball struggling? Because it didn't have enough black players to save it. Why is baseball struggling? Because the players play as though they're not celebrating and having a good time. They play like they're at a fucking job. They play like they're at a goddamn sane asylum and trying to make sure they just get the meds to whoever they didn't get the meds to and get the fuck out of there every day. It's not like they're enjoying their sport. And when you don't enjoy the sport or you don't look like you're enjoying the sport, what do you think the fans are going to do? The fans are going to find ways to less enjoy the sport. So, baseball. Old white man and your beautiful tartar smell, as Uncle Ruckus likes to say. Just relax a little bit. Change with the times. Not everything gonna be on your accord at every given moment. That's part of your privilege. You got to check your privilege. They call it tartar. But allow for the diversity, allow for the enjoyment, allow for the fun to come into your sport. You want to commodify everything so you can control how you commodify or how you experience it. But sometimes the experience is part of the unexpected. Sometimes the experience is part of the excitement of something unfamiliar. And it's not hurting you. It's not killing you. It's not threatening you. All it is giving you another way to enjoy, experience, and be happy about this sport that you so much love, apparently. But if you act like you hate it, then do you really love it? If you act like you have no fun around it and you don't enjoy it, do you really love it? Let black players save baseball. Let all the players with color and fun in their heart celebrate baseball. Let them have fun. Shout out to Trevor Bauer. Shout out to all the black players saving baseball. Sponsorship, Sankofa, Conspiracy Brother.
I'm not jumping through hoops for some psycho. That's a white man with white problems. You deal with it.
That is our show, my friends. That is our show. Any final words you guys like to have for the show?
Yeah, I just want to say real quickly that I like how Jared said that we took the quick hitters and we made it too long, but then went on a 5-rant section, Cutty Corner shout-out. So just heads up to that, Jared.
Two of them, he did 2 of them for
No, it's 5. It was 5. And he broke it down. It was 5 sections. It was 5 sections. I'm just telling you.
He did 2 quick hitters.
Dude, I went outside and played in the week with my family. I came back.
Yeah, Jared did a 5-part Cutty Corner shout-out.
Adaris, how you gonna? Adaris, no, you can't be.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
Adaris, man, you hating on me and
you can't even hold on to Harlem.
Hey.
That's my fault, y'all. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Hey, you know what? I will say this, Jared. These random sound bites are my favorites ever. Like, I love them. They make me laugh really hard.
If anything, this show proves that
there's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind.
There's so many of them too. Did Jared get to the second half? If Jared gets to the second half of those drops, we are in trouble. You can just play the sound drops and don't have a podcast.
We can just have a segment of JD Manning, just sound bites. We just like, and this week from JD Manning.
I think our YouTube segment should be white people listening to JD Manning for the first time.
Ooh, let's do that. We should.
You gotta have a video on them. You gotta have a video on them. It won't work unless
we can put them on Zoom and we can share a screen and just watch it. We can just sit there and watch with the person and just be like,
"Oh, y'all got it."
Any other words? Any final words, guys?
Oh, man, I would like to say I was, besides Jared, I was the first one here, and somehow I'm still here.
I said I was gonna be late. I don't know why.
I know. I'm just saying for future reference. If other people are late, we can start the show early I still hate it at the same time, rather than. Like,
I do agree. I do agree with that.
I thought you guys were already. I thought I was coming. That's why I kept saying. So, what part of the show we at? I thought we was in the middle of the show when I came in.
Come on, yeah. Shout out to all our fans out there. Thank you for listening and tuning in with us. We hope you have a blessed week. And shout out to France. We got some downloads in France this week. Ireland, United Kingdom, Canada. You know what I'm saying? We're starting to get a little internationally known, hopefully. And then, as usual, in the United States, our top downloaders is Oregon, Arizona. Texas is rising up the charts, is in 4th place right now. And we have still in 1st place in the United States, Maryland. We got Montana, Washington, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Indiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida kind of coming in. So, you know, we're making some waves. Hey, if you like our shit.
Hopefully, Jared, you realize that there's a lot of white people in Europe and you stop talking shit about them and maybe we get a few more.
Shout out to all the beautiful white people in Europe that want to listen to our show. We love you. We ain't here about hate. We're the most accepting people there are. We just like the Who ride.
Jared, he talking about like the Who ride. He likes your women.
Man, you sound like Steve Bannon right now, man. I'm out of here.
Yeah, come on, man. This is wild. This is wild.
Y'all ain't shit. All right, well, aside from that, we will leave you with this.
Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. Let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense.
He in church saying this. He in church saying this, man. Come on. Come on.
No, so Aaron sent us this Instagram model, and he's like, "Oh man, I need to figure out how to meet her." Like the segment we did, like, "Oh, who would you risk it all for?"
Yeah.
And so he sent there, and I was like, "All right, man, I'm gonna figure out a way. It's not gonna be quick, but there are ways to get an introduction, right?" Don't look at this girl's page, man. Like she's blasting everybody who's in her DMs, right? Like every other day so far this whole week, she's put somebody on blast in her DMs by like trying to get her to fly out somewhere or do this stuff. So I'm like, dude, like, and she don't even live in California. She lives in New York, and like I don't know when the hell Aaron or me is gonna be in New York to even talk to this person. I feel like Aaron's just making things difficult for himself. Like all the Asian women, he's gonna fly over to go meet this one.
That's the one he finds. So.
I have some experience in this level of espionage, or like I didn't think Aaron was into the whole waist trainers lifestyle, but apparently he is for this one. I think it was the Dodgers jersey that got him.
Yeah.
Aaron's a woman he risked it all for.
I ain't mad at him. I'm gonna risk something. Shit.
So I'm working on an angle for my man Aaron. You know,
that's good.
I was telling Pedro that she like puts people on blast for like trying to send her out or fly her out places or take her on dates. And if you just read some of these comments on here, dude, it's nuts. Let me see.
Dude, on Facebook, I just look at like some of my ex-girlfriend from high school.
Yeah.
She'd be putting up crazy posts and things. I'm like, and these dudes, man, like one she put up yesterday, I can't take it, I need a release. Some fool on Facebook put, "Oh man, you can release all over my face." I was like, God. My daughter's friends be she's kind of like hot, you know, she's out there, and them dudes on there be super thirsty. And I'm like, dude, if you only knew, you need to back off a little bit. It ain't worth the game. Just slow, you need to pump your brakes. You can get that for like $40. That's, and I'm not exaggerating. They just doing too much. Like, yeah.
I don't know. Like, for me, like, it's sort of like, I think, like, when has that worked? Like, when did you make a comment like that? And so I was like, actually, come on now. Come over now. When did that happen?
No, B, shoot, you gotta imagine these females in the South, these dudes in the South, and the females in the South. Yeah. That some of that I can see that happening. I can see it happening.
So one of my cousin's friends, she's one of those people that post about how alone they are, like half the week, and how independent they are the other half of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's doing that, and then she shared like this story about this dude she wanted to hire for her birthday that's coming up. And I think this dude's a gigolo. Like, he basically, he's a masseuse.
No.
But
no.
I've seen plenty of those videos circulating errands types of hubs.
And like, you just read his profile. He's like, "Nah, I'm just here to give you the experience of a lifetime. You're gonna be my African goddess. You know, book me now. I'll fly out to these cities or whatever." And I was like, "What the?" Like, you just put that on your page? Like, I need somebody to fund this for me.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with y'all niggas? What's wrong with you?
I don't want to be a black man.
The nigga ain't got no sense.